What's up, everybody? Alright, finally, everybody's been waiting. Here's my dad's 455. And I put the chrome valve covers on it to make it look cool, but they're not going on this engine. Actually, those are, but these are for mine. I just thought it made it look cooler for the thumbnail. So, anyway. Gotcha. Anyway. What's been going on over here? Oof. A lot of things. A lot of unexpected things have turned up lately. I haven't been able to film anything because I haven't been able to do anything. And I'm actually getting over being violently sick right now, too. Turns out, 2 weeks ago, I had a nasty flu. And I mean vicious. 2 days vicious. It moved through as fast as it could, and it came right out. But, I started getting better, and I realized I was getting real sick. And, sick again. Turns out I have strep throat. But anyway, before I keep rambling on, today is, what, Thursday? So it's August 1st. I know you'll be watching this, what, maybe tomorrow, who knows? Whenever you guys see this, you see this. But anyway, it's August 1st. I'm off starting on Tuesday. And whether my dad likes it or not, I'm going to start tearing his car apart on Tuesday. And if he needs a set of wheels, he can drive my Camaro. I'd like to show you guys a bunch of parts that came in that are for the wagon build, and the Cutlass build. But before I do, I want to send all you guys over to my friend Chris's channel with Testa Speed Shop. He's got a nice little surprise for you guys going on that channel. And you guys know he's got a Chevelle, and he works on Tom's Cornet. But something new and exciting is happening over there. So head over to Testa Speed Shop, and I'll drop a link for that channel in the description down there. This way you guys can find it rather easy. But alright, let's get started. Alright, so let's start off with the carburetor I got at Carlisle for the Cutlass. Now, all I've ever played with were quadrajets, okay? So hear me out. I didn't spot this one. Chris actually spotted this out of the corner of his eye at a concession stand. And the guy that was running the stand that was selling parts was rather a goofball. Chris was checking the throttle shaft on here when we were looking at it. He was wiggling it slightly. And Chris was giving the carburetor a good thorough look over. And the guy selling parts looks right over at us and goes, "Stop wiggling that!" And my dad's like, "Relax, guy, we're buying it. We're just looking at it." But anyway, what a dick. But anyway, Chris found this. And this is it's an old school Holley 780 CFM. And we're not sure what year it is. We have to look at it closer, but we're thinking it's late 60s, early 70s. And somebody had it, the jets that somebody put in it were actually similar to what we're going to use. Somebody had 74 and 78 jets in it, but they had them staggered. They had a 74 in the front, a 78 in the front, a 78 in the rear, and a 74 in the rear. So we're just going to put both the 74s in the front and the 8s in the rear, and we should be fine. So, with an old school Holley of this vintage and this age, who knows when the last time it's been on a car. So Chris gave me a nice little parts list with all the numbers, a list with all the part numbers, and this is what we got. We got an AED rebuild kit and some other goodies. Nice power valve, another power valve, some fuel filters. That's an oil pressure adapter. I'm gonna keep my my idiot light on the dashboard for the oil pressure switch because, yeah, it's nice to have an oil pressure gauge in your car, but if you're not paying attention, you're not gonna know there's a problem if it arises. So I'm gonna keep the idiot light on the dashboard. This way my peripherals can pick up on it and run a pressure switch. And that's what this is gonna help me do. It's a T-fitting. This way you can keep the light and the gauge. Now the gauges The gauges come with that plastic nylon hose that goes from the gauge to the oil pressure switch. And who knows what happens when they get old. They probably blow out and blow oil all over your interior. So, we got this. It's the cheaper route, but we got a copper line for the oil pressure switch, or the oil pressure gauge, I should say. Now, I'm gonna use this on my dad's car, but I'm gonna have to pick up another one of these for the Cutlass. And to be honest, I might even pick up a braided line for the Cutlass. Now, I picked these up for $20. 20 bucks. They're two separate pieces, but what they do is these pieces right here, you can box your lower control arms or your trailing arms on an A-body. Usually you'd want to have boxed control arms if you're running a rear sway bar, but in my case I have ladder bars, and this should do it. Scrape all the rubberized undercoating off of my trailing arms, put these in there, weld them up, paint them, done. 20 bucks. Now, for another $20, you can have a nice set of these. But I gotta let all you guys know, the disclaimer right up front. Warning, this product will give you AIDS, according to California. See that? Don't use this, you'll die. Anyway, especially if you're pregnant. If you're pregnant, don't use this. Plastic. Bubble wrap. Now, I don't know how well these are gonna work, but I think they'll get the job done. But this was $20. You don't need a voltmeter. So yeah, I didn't need a voltmeter. I figured I'd just go with the water and the oil pressure switch. And like I said, you can't go wrong. It's a Summit brand, but 20 bucks. So I got two of them. One in that box, and then one in that box right on the floor. And this is that plastic line that we're gonna be replacing right here with the copper piece right there. Well, let me put this back in the box. I seriously almost forgot to show you guys the best part of all the parts that I bought. Well, I decided on a set of mufflers for the Cutlass, and this is what they are. Ooh, cherry bomb. Well, now I don't have dual outlets like that, but it's in they're offset, inlet, outlet. Anyway, let's see what they look like. Wow, bubble wrap. Real quick, the reason I went with these is because I really like the way they sound from the cars I've heard them on, which is very select. There's one guy on YouTube that's got a Trans Am they sound really good on. They cackle at an idle. They don't have that Flowmaster sound. They're really mellow at cruising, so they don't drone, and they scream when you get on them. And best of all, they only cost $36 a piece. So, let's see what they look like inside. Well, anyway, it's just like the box says. It's a very unique design. They're supposed to flow really, really good. I was actually going to put a set of these on my dad's wagon when I put his car together the first time, but I didn't. Instead, I opted for these. The Dynamax Ultra Flows, which is a similar muffler in design. Except for these a little more straight through, which I'm kind of irritated about these mufflers. If you look at it, it's like a glass pack with a muffler housing on it, surrounded by fiberglass, okay? They sound good on the wagon. Now the wagon's not like a 11-to-1 compression race car engine or anything like that. You know what I mean? Sounds good on a mild build. What, 9 to whatever compression it has. But I'm irritated about these mufflers because right after I bought these are almost $70 a piece from Dynamax, okay? Like a month or 2 months after I picked those mufflers up, Flowmaster came out with a set just like them called Flow FXs, okay? I forget how much they cost. I want to say there's somewhere around $40 or less a side. I can't imagine that they sound much different. They're constructed literally the same way. The only difference is that if you look at the Dynamax, it goes in, angle, out, okay? The Flowmaster goes in, swoops out. Instead of being a straight piece right here, it kind of has like this little kind of S shape to it. Anyway. Alright, so that's for mufflers. Just in case I didn't mention before, I have a set of exhaust cutouts for the Cutlass as well. So if those mufflers turn out to be too quiet and I'm disappointed at the flick of a switch, I can always make it louder. Alright, so I'm going to show you guys how that oil pressure switch works. There's your switch that operates your idiot light. You lose all oil pressure, it'll break the connection, and it'll light up the oil light on your dashboard. But by adding this fitting right here, it secretly allows you to run a gauge. So, cool. How might you run the temperature sensor, you might ask? Well, over in this hole in the intake is where you put your temperature sensor, so if you start overheating, it'll put the idiot light on and say, hey, dickhead, your engine's running hot, shut it off, okay? Now, over in this hole, from the factory, they run this piece called a thermal vacuum switch, which waits till the engine gets up to a certain operating temperature, and then it allows your vacuum advance for your distributor to come online and all that. Well, we're gonna delete that on this engine. Believe it or not, that car still has the switch. So does the wagon. But on these two engines, this red 455 and this soon-to-be blue 455, we're gonna delete the thermal vacuum switch. And right here is where you wire in your temperature gauge. This way you can read it, see what your temperature is on the gauge, and also keep your dummy light. Because, let's be honest, if you're overheating and you're not paying attention to the dashboard, yeah, your gauge can read hot all day, but how are you supposed to know what's actually going on? So, it doesn't hurt to have a little backup situation saying, hey asshole, you're hot. I know I'm hot, but anyway, I gotta wrap this up soon. I got some stuff going on. But like I said earlier, make sure you head over to Chris's channel over at Testa Speed Shop. I can't tell you what the surprise is. As bad as I want to tell you, you just gotta go over and look at it. Oh man, it's so cool though. Be sure to go over there and check it out. Stay tuned. I know I've been down for a couple weeks, but I think I'm on the upcycle. And whether Dad likes it or not, he's losing his car on Tuesday. And for some reason, if he doesn't lose his car on Tuesday, and you guys don't see a video of that engine coming out, I will personally post my address to where I live, and you guys can all come over here and club me over the head and get my ass in gear. But until then, I'll see everybody later. And I've only got a couple more days of work, and man, I'm excited. I'm telling you, it could rain, it could snow, there could be a hurricane. I'll put an easy up over that car and get that engine out of there. So I think that's what I'm gonna do is when I pull that engine, I'm just gonna film us pulling it out. I might time lapse it a little bit, and you guys will get a little sneak peek preview that way. So until then, I'll see everybody later, and like, comment, subscribe as usual.